Hey there! Ever found it tricky to explain how you got from one place to another? Well, today, we're going to master the small but super important words that help us describe a journey. Yep, we're talking all about prepositions of movement. Let's dive right in. So, think about it for a second. How do you describe your own journey to school or work? You probably say things like, I walk, or I take the train. But what about the details? How do you explain moving past a shop or going over a bridge? Those are exactly the kinds of words we're going to get familiar with today. Okay, to really see how these words work in the real world, we're going to listen to a quick chat between two people about their morning journeys. As you listen, see if you can spot all the little words they use to describe movement.
I walked to the train station this morning.
Nice! I rode my bicycle past the shopping mall and along the river. Sounds good. Did you go through the park?
Yes, I went through the park and then into the subway station.
Great. I went out of the station and straight across the street to the cafe. All right, so we just heard words like to, past, along, through, into. So what's the deal with them? Let's take a closer look and figure out what they're actually doing in those sentences. So think back to that conversation. What job were words like to, past, and into doing? Are they just telling us where something is, like at the park? Or are they showing us some kind of action, some kind of movement? That's right, they're all about movement. We call these prepositions of movement. Basically, their whole job is to show us the direction we're traveling. They tell the story of how we get from point A to point B. So let's build what I like to call your movement toolkit. We're going to go through the most important prepositions one by one so you can feel really confident using them to describe your own adventures. First up, the one you probably use all the time, to. To is super simple. You use it to talk about your final destination. I walked to the shop, they drove to the airport. It's all about where you end up. Easy, right? Okay, next we've got a pair of opposites, into and out of. Think of a box, or a room, or a car. When you enter that space, you go into it, and when you leave, you go out of it. You walk into the classroom, and later you walk out of the classroom. Now, this next pair can sometimes be a little confusing, but it's easy when you get the hang of it. We use through when we're moving inside a three-dimensional space. You know, something that surrounds you, like walking through a forest or driving through a tunnel. We use across for moving over a flat surface from one side to the other, like running across a field or swimming across a river. So what about when you're following a path, like a road or a river? Well, for that, we use along. You're moving in the same line as something. Just like the example here, they walked along the river. They're just following its path. This one's pretty straightforward. You use past when you go by something, but you don't actually stop there. Imagine you walk past a cool cafe on your way to work. You see it, you go by it, but you just keep on moving. And our last one for the toolkit is around. This one is for any kind of movement that's in a circle or follows a curve. You might walk around a lake or drive around a big roundabout. Awesome work. We've just added a ton of new tools to our movement toolkit. Now, let's put it all together and look at a few more examples just to make sure these ideas really stick. Let's just run through these one more time. I walked to the bus stop. She went into the train station. We walked through the park. He ran across the road. The bus drove along the river. I rode past the police station. We walked around the shopping mall. It's pretty cool how each little word creates a totally different picture of the journey, isn't it? All right, now it's your turn to practice. Think about where you went today. What was your journey like? Did you go into a building, walk along a street, drive past the library? Go ahead and try to describe your trip using some of these new prepositions. That's the best way to make them feel natural.